So, my talk today, is sympathy for the devil. Forgiveness leads to compassion. And I have some pictures which my purpose is, quite frankly, to induce some feeling. I'm hoping you find that you need to forgive me or somebody by the time you watch all these pictures. So here, let's look at the first one. Okay, this is a picture from the California fire. Another one. Another picture. Okay, then the next picture, that's from the Thousand Oaks shooting. One more picture. That's a vigil after the Thousand Oaks shooting. People holding hands and lighting candles. This is the Central American caravan. People going through Mexico to get to the United States. That's also from the caravan. That's also from the caravan. The next one, these are some recolorized photos from World War I because it's 100 years since armistice. Okay. That's also World War I and World War I. The next one is also World War I, and then there's one more. This is, I actually made that black and white because it was too scary in color. 53 dead in Somalia from a bomb. And one last picture. That's the 20,000 people protesting a climate of hate in Rome. So those people are saying, we protest a climate of hate. And here's my last picture. Let's leave that up for a minute, because it's like I can just live in this picture, you know. These are our people. Okay, thanks, honey, putting those up there. All of these pictures I got this morning off the internet. I just went to my news feed and I found them all. And there were many more I could have found that would evoke feelings of compassion and maybe feelings of blame. Maybe some feelings of blame, which is leading to the devil. Now, has anybody ever watched any of those CSI shows? Any crime shows, right? You know that light they shine in the dark that points up the blood stains? Okay. Well, we have the power of that light in us. We can shine our compassion on events that we are participating in and find the blood stains that we need to heal. We have our frequency, our energy our consciousness can shine on events and find out what it is that we might need to deal with. Now, how does a Unity Truth student deal with evil? One of the first Unity authors, H. Emily Cady, sheds some light into our hearts from the classic Lessons in Truth. I'm not going to read you much, but she has a really firm grasp of God is spirit, or the creative energy that is the cause of all visible things. God is the name we give to that unchangeable, inexorable principle as a source of all existence. God is principle, impersonal. As expressed in each individual, she becomes personal to that one, meaning God expresses as us. Okay. And in chapter 4 of Lessons in Truth, there's a whole chapter called Denials. And H. Emily Cady, who was a physician, by the way, one of the first women physicians in the early 1900s, has a chapter about denials, which is a Unity spiritual practice. It's a very classic Unity. You've heard of affirmations. You say an affirmation. Denial it's like an affirmation about this bunch of junk has no power over me. You know, this pile of blah, there's no power over me, really. Okay. So she has 4 classic denials. She says there are 4 common error thoughts to which nearly everyone grants great power. First, there is no evil. Pretty dramatic thing. There is but one power in the universe, and that is God. Sound familiar? Good, omnipresent. Apparent evils are not entities or things of themselves. They are simply the apparent absence of the good, just as darkness is an absence of light. Absence of light. Okay. Second, there is no absence of life, substance, or intelligence anywhere, even on television, even on your Facebook feed. There is no absence of life, substance, or intelligence anywhere. Third, this is a hard one for me to deny. Pain, sickness, poverty, old age, and death cannot master me, for they are not real. Fourth, there is nothing in all the universe for me to fear, for greater is she that is within me than she that is in the world. So, no evil, no devil, blah, blah, blah. You know, you've heard me say over and over again, all the devil is our projecting of what we do not accept in ourselves out into the world. And sometimes I'm sure you want to say, excuse me, I never bombed anybody. There was no bombing in me. There was no harming in me to project out on there. So don't tell me that. But yes, this is the truth. It is the truth. It is what we teach. It is what I believe when I am in my right mind, in my knowing, and acting with my higher self, driving this bus. That's Cynthia. You know? Mind you, sometimes there are other drivers. There's a 3-year-old that is really bad at the wheel, and an 8-year-old that gets me into trouble every time. But sometimes my higher self is driving the bus. Now, you know that saying, everything looks like a nail to a hammer? You know what I'm saying? And I was recognizing that the other day. I was in a meeting with a class, and people were asking questions, and I noticed that each one of us had a viewpoint. You know, we were a certain kind of hammer. Like, for example, nonviolent communication has a certain way of framing things. So if I was looking at things with the hammer of nonviolent communication, I would say, wow, what is the need here? What is the feeling? What is the request, you know? And somebody else was, gosh, I can't remember the exact name of her stuff, but it was, I think it's, but she was looking through her particular healing modality of what it was, you know? And so you look at things that way. Now, I am the hammer of forgiveness. And everything I see looks like nails of unforgiveness to me. Everything that is not in harmony with me, everything that irritates me, everything that hurts me, everything I see out there that I don't like, it looks like a nail of unforgiveness. And I want to bring my hammer of forgiveness to lead myself to compassion. So I want to invite you to my hammer party. We're going to have a hammer party. We're going to go for those nails with our forgiveness. Some people can go straight to those 4 denials like Emily Cady talks about, right? Some people, and many of them in this room, can just lift themselves up to consciousness and say, there is no pain, there is no death, you know. I know my soul lives forever. I know that I am kindness and love. So people can just go straight there. And mostly, I need a little hammering. I got a hammer because those nails of unforgiveness keep popping up. One of my spiritual teachers used to say that all the people that are here to annoy you are highly paid by spirit just to show up. And it's true. Really, our whole world is just one big smorgasbord for us to evolve our consciousness. You know, it's awesome. There's bread and cheese and snails and whatever, all of it. Now, an interesting thing happened last week when I came back from my long trip, and I'm going to play the card of jet lag here, but I double scheduled something for the church, so it's kind of, it caused me some unease and the whole topic, but I want to be perfectly transparent. Marianne Williamson, who is an author and a teacher, she's famous for putting out teaching about A Course in Miracles. And I've seen, she was probably the first spiritual teacher I saw in 1987. Really impressed me. I've seen her a lot. I've done workshops with her. And she even was a Unity minister for a while. She acted as the Unity minister of one of the big churches in Detroit. I think it was Detroit, somewhere in Michigan. Unity Renaissance. And she wants to come to lots of different churches and places and have conversations with people. Now, she's written a book called Healing the Soul of America, and I had a lot of uneasiness about this. Oh, first of all, the brain fog is that she's talking up here while we're having a potluck down there. So she's going to be up here in the sanctuary next Sunday at 12. We're going to be having our potluck at 11:30 and so. And we're not actually going to bring our food up here. The food will stay down there. Marion will be here. You can come up and go, but and some people will want to do both, and you'll just have to figure it out like me. And some people will only want to do one or the other. But I had a lot of anxiety come up when Marianne Williamson wanted to come because she wants to talk about America, and she wants to talk about, let me read what she says. It's time to start co-creating the next chapter in American history. At a time when fear has been harnessed for political purposes, our task is to turn love into a political force. This is the only way to create for America a vibrant, sustainable future. And she, her person who called me said she just wants to have conversations. No big deal, no money. She actually wants to talk. She will give, I'm pretty sure she'll talk too because I know her. She's definitely a minister and she will talk. But she will also listen. She wants to meet you. But what came up for me was at first I said, well, I'm not going to have her here through the church. I'm going to have her here through me, but it will be at the church because politics. And then this whole thing about just grew in me about why is, how much I have my head in the sand and afraid of any political discussion. You could ask Roland. I'm just downright phobic. I'm downright phobic, I really feel like I have a low tolerance for any blaming. And then I thought, well, can I trust Marianne Williamson to come here and not blame? I had better be able to trust her. I mean, I will, you will see me shattered if I'll rise again. But here's the deal. Marianne Williamson is a teacher of A Course in Miracles. The lesson in A Course in Miracles over and over again is the things I'm trying to teach us and me too, over and over again, about that anything we see out there that we blame, we need to own it in some way. We need to own it and forgive it. We need to use that hammer of forgiveness. So I noticed how much fear came up for me in having somebody associated with Unity Center of Des Moines that might be talking about politics. I had a lot of fear. As it happened, I went with it anyway because I said, I took on responsibility. I'll have it in my name. But I want to be perfectly transparent about, I haven't really worked this through yet. I know that I have some ambivalent feelings, and I've over and over again said, this has got to be a room where every political party can feel like they're loved and appreciated and respected. Let me say that again. Everybody's beliefs, whoever anybody voted for, or who they think, who they're mad at, who they're happy with, I really, like, it is just a strong, strong desire that we feel welcome and that we respect each other and welcome each other and listen to each other, you know. And I, for one, recognize that I better start talking to people who don't believe exactly the same thing I do. Instead of just not talking and hiding, I better hammer some forgiveness. You know, hopefully they don't feel like it's a hammer on them. I don't know. In the Course of in A Course of Miracles, they have a daily lesson. Here's a lesson, 193. All things are lessons God would have me learn. These are the lessons God would have you learn. Her will reflects them all, and they reflect her loving kindness to the daughter she loves. Each lesson has a central thought, the same in all of them. And by the way, the lessons are every little bitty thing that happens to you every day. Okay? The lessons is the smorgasbord. The form alone is changed with different circumstances and events, with different characters and different themes. Apparent but not real. They are the same in fundamental content. It is this: forgive and you will see this differently. Oh, forgive and you will see this differently. I'll tell you what, this is a blanket statement and, if you will, a magic bullet. I know this because I have practiced this. Some of us can just go to compassion without having to forgive. If you're, you know, it seems like maybe Emily Cady could just go right to those denials and go right to the affirmations and have compassion for every single human being on the planet, on the earth, and love them unreservedly and see that the God in them and see the Christ in them, no matter what. And I have to process, you know. It's easy for me to love everybody outside of the room with me because they're not annoying me, you know, right? But when people feel like they're in your face or on your back or whatever it is, when you know your daily walk or something that's really, you know, that you feel very strong about, you know, feel very sad about, that's when forgive and you will see this differently. Certain it is that all distress does not appear to be but unforgiveness. Wow, that's really a complicated sentence. Let's just say it this way. Everything you're distressed about is what you're not forgiving. Every single thing that's causing you unease, that is keeping you from being compassionate, there's unforgiveness there. Every time. Yet, that is the content underneath the form. And here's the good news. It is this sameness which makes learning sure. Because the lesson is so simple that it cannot be rejected in the end. No one can hide forever from a truth so very obvious that it appears in countless forms and yet is recognized as easily in all of them. If you just want to see that simple lesson, forgive, and you will see this differently. So next week, whether you join us in the basement for our potluck, whether you are brave enough or maybe you have a passion for Marianne Williamson and you want to sit and listen, I'll probably be running up and down, doing both. And I'm, you know, and I do appreciate that I was able to share with you something that I'm not really exactly clear about. I haven't learned my total lesson yet. Let's just say that. I haven't learned the total lesson yet. But I do have the knowing in me that every single thing is here for me, especially the things that bug me, like that. This whole thing, it bugged me. You know, especially when I figured out I overbooked, especially when I figured out I had all these uneasy feelings. Every single thing is here for me. It's my smorgasbord. It's my opportunity to do that magic. Forgive, and you will see this differently. Let's take an offering for